family, and welcome. In this video, we are going to talk about the top 5 questions you need to ask yourself before deciding to get Botox. My name is Sarah, and I am the owner and aesthetic provider here at the Refinery Med Spa in Indianapolis. So let's count down those top 5 questions from number 5 up to number 1, my most important question to ask yourself before choosing to get Botox. But before we jump in, I want to clarify that when I say Botox, in this video, I don't necessarily only mean brand name Botox. We tend to use the word Botox to refer to any of the neuromodulators that we can use. Botox is a brand name. It was the first to market, so most people recognize that name, but that could also include Dysport, Xeomin, Jeuveau. All 4 of these behave similarly in the body, and all of the questions that I have in this list today can apply to treatment with any of these drugs. Question number 5. What area of concern do you have that you want to treat with Botox? So when patients come in to see me for a consult or for a treatment, my first question is always, what concern do you have that brought you in today? It's not, where do you want Botox? So I always encourage patients to have the conversation of what is your concern and let your provider decide what areas to treat. So for example, if you wanted to treat your eyebrow and you wanted to increase a little brow lift, instead of saying, hey, I want some Botox in my eyebrow, well, maybe that's not the best place to put it to get the effect that you're looking for. So understand that what your desired effect is the conversation you should be having. Instead of asking for Botox in my eyebrow, say, hey, I would like a little brow lift. And then your practitioner can decide based on your muscles, is it better to put it in the corrugator, this muscle that pulls inward? Is it better to put it under the brow and open up the whole eye area? So that's the first part of question number 5. The second part is, do your areas of concern need to stay in balance with other facial muscles? For example, if you're concerned with horizontal lines across the forehead, we will also need to treat this area even if you don't have those 11 lines. The reason for this is the forehead muscle is a lifter, an elevator, and if we decrease that to decrease those lines, these muscles here are going to continue to pull down and cause very heavy eyebrows. So that's another part of what are your concerns that we are trying to treat with Botox. Do those muscle groups need to stay in balance? And the third part of this question is, are your concerns actually caused by muscles? Botox at its core decreases muscle contraction. If your concerns aren't caused by muscles, then we can't treat it with Botox. An example of this is when people come in and don't like the way that this nasolabial fold is forming. Unfortunately, that's not typically caused by a muscle, so there's no place we can place Botox in order to decrease that fold. Question number 4 that you need to answer before deciding to get a Botox treatment is, realistically, what is your budget for treatment? This is an important question to know and understand, and a question that you need to be willing to discuss with your provider before receiving treatment. It's no good for anyone if you get a full face of Botox, this beautiful treatment, get everything exactly like you like it, and then say, oh yeah, by the way, I only have $150. That's just not realistic for either one of you. So having that upfront conversation about any budget restrictions with your injector is super important. I know that can be a tricky conversation to have, but it is just a great thing to bring up, get out of the way. Some injectors will price their Botox by unit. For example, we price all of our toxins at $13 a unit. That's pretty standard for our geographical location. Some injectors price by area. For example, treating the glabella would be a set price, treating the forehead would be a set price, and then that wouldn't change based on your dosing. So just make sure that you've got your budget in mind and that you're having that conversation with your provider before treatment. It is time for the third most important question to ask yourself before deciding to get Botox. Before we get into that, make sure that you stick around until the end. I had a really tough time deciding between number 1 and number 2 of the most important, so I'm excited to tell you guys what those are. But the third most important question that you should ask yourself is, are you going to be able to maintain your results? If you just want to do a one-time Botox treatment, you're really not going to get that big of a change in your wrinkles overall. It will decrease your muscle movement for about 3 to 4 months while the drug lasts, but after that, you're not going to see a significant change in your wrinkles. What you need to be willing to do is have those consistent treatments every 3 to 4 months to be able to really let your skin relax on top of those muscles and let them smooth out and decrease your wrinkles overall. If you're not going to maintain those results and stay consistent and stay dedicated to that treatment plan, it's probably not really in your best interest to even start getting Botox. The second most important question that I think you should ask yourself before getting Botox treatment is, have you found a reputable injector? This is so important both for your safety and for your outcome. And some different ways that you can test or decide if your injector is reputable is, first of all, what are their credentials? Are they a medical professional who has taken anatomy classes, who's taken physiology, who understands how these drugs work and how to treat complications? Or is it just somebody that took like a weekend course and is set up in their best friend's basement bathroom? Make sure that you're really doing your due diligence, finding a medical professional, because these are medical procedures, and somebody that you can trust to do these injections. Another thing that's important with your injector is, do they have before and afters that look like what you are after? Do they have results that speak for themselves? Do they have pictures that you can look at of previous treatments so you can say, oh yeah, I really like that. That's what I'm looking for. Or do they have a bunch that maybe don't look like the result you're looking for? Maybe they don't have any to show at all. Make sure you're looking for and asking about before and after pictures. Another great way to choose an injector is based on reviews. A lot of people have Google reviews. You can get on different websites and look for reviews on local injectors. One of the best things is that past client experience to just explain, like, what was the process? How did they make you feel? Were you nervous? Were you like a warm, welcome environment? How were your results? Did the provider follow up after the treatment? Did they make you want to come back and get another treatment? All of these are so important and things that you can learn from past client reviews. And then finally, word of mouth. Like, ask your girlfriends, ask your sister, ask your mom. There are so many people that receive Botox treatments that if you just ask, hey, who do you like? Or even who have you been to that you didn't really click with, you're bound to find somebody in your area that is a reputable injector that you can trust to take care of your face. But one thing you should not be worried about when you are choosing your injector is finding the best deal. If you're like Groupon shopping for your injector, like maybe hold off. Maybe it's not quite the right time for you. You cannot be price shopping something that is so important as a medical treatment that's your face, right? Like, you're wearing this all day, every day. Please do not be price shopping to find your injector. All right, we have made it to the number one question I think you should ask yourself before getting a Botox treatment. Before I get into that, I would truly appreciate it if you could take just a quick second, drop down and hit that like button. Also, go ahead and hit subscribe. And once you do, leave me a comment that says I've subscribed and where you're from. Like, I'd put I've subscribed from Indianapolis. I just love seeing where everybody is viewing from. And I will do my best to reply to all of those comments. So without further ado, the number one question I truly believe you should ask yourself before receiving a Botox treatment is, why do you want a Botox treatment? And I don't mean just like because I've got wrinkles. I mean, like, really. Why do you want a Botox treatment? Why are you here in my chair today? Is it because your friends all do it and talk about it and you think you should? Is it because you just turned 30 and you're having some like quarter life crisis and you feel like, I better start getting some Botox because I feel tired when I wake up in the morning? Or is it, maybe I have this wrinkle right here and my mom has it, my sister has it, and it's this vertical line and it drives me nuts and it's all I see when I look in the mirror. My makeup always soaks into it. Or is it something else? Is it everyone else does it and I don't really want it. I don't really think I need it, but I feel like I should because my friends talk about it all the time. Like, really have that conversation with yourself and really reflect on, why do you think you are ready to start getting a Botox treatment? There's no right or wrong answers. I just always want to be sure my patients are choosing this for the right reasons. I had a patient a few weeks ago that came in and I could just tell she was kind of off. She wasn't her normal perky self. She was really upset and I was like, what's going on? And she had some things happening at work. She had just broken up with her boyfriend and I could just tell she was not in the right headspace. And in that moment, as her provider, I was like, you know what? Let's just hold off. I didn't feel like she was making the decision to have a treatment for the right reasons. I thought maybe there were some other things going on deeper that she thought this was going to solve. And I said, hey, not really the right move right now. So we held off on her treatment. So I just always want to make sure that my patients and anyone else that I chat with are choosing to have aesthetic treatments truly for the right reason. And with the understanding that this is like something that's going to change a superficial look. Maybe there's something you're self-conscious about, and that's super cool, right? That's what I built my business and my life around is helping people with those things. But I think it's really important to kind of look a little bit deeper and just decide, why am I choosing to do this? Is it for me? Is it for things I want? And just make sure there's no other influences out there. So without anything else to add, those are my top 5 questions that I think are super important for you to ask yourself before your first Botox treatment. Let me know in the comments below which of these you kind of agree with the most, which one was the most surprising to you. Any other topics that you guys want to learn about, let me know, and I will see you in the next video.